davet ediyorum. Havalimanlarına davet ediyorum. Tanklarıyla, toplarıyla gelsinler. Ne yapacaklarsa halka orada yapsınlar.
Abi birini vurdular.
Aslında 10 tane asker var ya. Allah belanızı ver.
What happened in Turkey on July 15th, 2016 is terrorizing and disgusting. But taking a closer look can help us understand how structures of domination operate around the world today, and maybe we can even find a way out. In 2011, Turkey looked promising from the West. When Arab Spring kicked in, Turkey seemed relatively stable, so it was promoted as a model for the Islamic world. Tayyip Erdogan was posing as a democratic leader to the Middle East. Even though Turkey had been in a civil war that has killed more than 50,000 people for half a century, and despite the military coups taking over every decade, it seemed tables were finally turning. By 2011, AKP got elected 3 times in a row by playing the subaltern but moderate Muslims and continued to run Turkish state apparatus as it used to. Their greatest ally was the Gülen movement based in the United States. Through their allegiance, they were able to slowly but gradually replace the old secular elite of Turkey with a new Islamic one, with the pretext of democratization. They secretly started negotiating with the Kurdish Workers' Party PKK back in 2009 in Oslo. They even seemed to be prosecuting some of the worst elements of the Turkish deep state structures, when in fact they were only optimizing and upgrading them.
Derin devlet kötü bir şey değil. Aslında hele Türkiye gibi bu zor coğrafyada bir ülkenin mutlaka derin devletinin olması lazım. Şimdi diyoruz ki Türkiye'de yeniden bir derin devlet oluşturulacak.
Meanwhile, waves of the Arab Spring hit the West. With US and Europe being occupied and in crisis, Tayyip thought he could get more of the Middle East for himself. Using his recent friend Barzani, he made a rogue oil trade deal outside of central Iraqi control. To maximize profit, AKP changed the law in Turkey, which made Erdogan family monopolize oil trade. This state-backed smuggling monopoly is extremely violent. Civilian citizens of Roboski, that Turkish state perceived to be autonomous smugglers, were bombed by F-16s, killing 34 people. Tayyip's son-in-law, Berat Albayrak, now the Minister of Energy,
malumunuzdur,
was put in charge of the oil smuggling operations, proven by emails dated early 2012. The same smuggling ring was then used to meddle with Syria. It was killing all the birds with one stone. Now Erdogans could control the oil flowing out of jihadist territories with the same trucks that brought in jihadi armies and their weapons. Their profits were multiplying the investment made on the jihadi armies. Of course, there were many dangers threatening these dirty dreams. Kurdish Workers' Party was the main threat. Any pipe dreams Tayyip shared with Barzani, PKK was there to blow it up. Kurds in Syria were also very inspired and influenced by the PKK. The YPG made the whole world aware that there is a better option than Tayyip's jihadist friends in Syria. At the same time, the Turkish army was failing within Turkey, for the first time losing land control to the guerrillas of PKK. Tayyip had no other choice than making peace. People's Democratic Party, HDP, is the legal party representing the majority of Kurds in Turkey in coalition with Turkish leftists and feminists. They believe that an honorable peace is the precondition for democracy. They became facilitators of the peace process between AKP and PKK. In March 2013, at Ahmet, Newroz festivities were celebrated in peace. For the first time in Turkish mainstream media, a message of Dear Abdullah Öcalan addressing the peoples were read by members of HDP. Live with no bloodshed.
Güneşi içinizi ısıtsın diye size Kürt halkının güneşinin selamını getirdik. Artık silahlı unsurlarımızın sınır ötesine çekilmesi aşamasına gelinmiştir. Yüreğini bana açan, bu davaya inanan herkesin sürecin hassasiyetlerini sonuna kadar gözeteceğine inanıyorum. Bu bir son değil, yeni bir başlangıçtır. Bu mücadeleyi bırakma değil, daha farklı bir mücadeleyi başlatmadır. Yeni mücadelenin zemini fikir, ideoloji ve demokratik siyasettir. Büyük bir demokratik hamle başlatmaktır. Selam olsun bu sürece güç verenlere. Selam olsun demokratik barış çözümünü destekleyenlere. Selam olsun halkların kardeşliği, eşitliği ve demokratik özgürlüğü için sorumluluk üstlenenlere. Yaşasın Newroz, yaşasın halkların kardeşliği. İmralı Cezaevi 21 Mart 2013 Abdullah Öcalan.
Tayyip and his boys didn't fancy this peace process. They were bloodthirsty. AKP illegalized May Day that year. Their military police terrorized people. To justify further militarization under control of the Turkish intelligence agency, state-backed jihadists bombed Reyhanlı, killing 52 people. Meanwhile, AKP was fighting a war against nature. All along, they had been stressing the entire country with their tasteless constructions, destroying precious ecosystems. There was no place left in central Istanbul, other than Gezi Park, where a person could sit without having to buy something. However, Tayyip already had the plans of destroying that park to build a shopping mall. At the end of the month, he tried. The peaceful resistance was attacked as usual by the police, who burned people's tents and bulldozed trees. That's when what no one expected happened. Wave after wave, people flowed into Taksim to reclaim the park. Tayyip was scared shitless. He immediately censored the press. Only this time, it backfired.
Şu anda canlı yayındayız. Taksim Meydanı'ndan.
Gezi Park was won both on the field and on the internet. Social media was used extensively to spread the movement. On the second day of the resistance, an anarchist collective organized a media workshop in the park. Within days, there were dozens of people live streaming from protests around Turkey, and millions of people were watching them all over the world. Tayyip Erdoğan was exposed as a dictator, with mainstream media as his accomplice. In 2 weeks, government forces killed 7 comrades and wounded thousands. When the militarized police were able to evict the park after 2 weeks, they only caused it to decentralize and take a more dangerous form. Tayyip's son-in-law Berat and his brother already owned half of the media and entertainment industry in Turkey, but they were still getting their asses kicked on social media. This is when Berat received an email that he forwarded to his brother. There was a feasibility report attached to the mail that laid out the theoretical basis of the Aktroll's organizational structure. It included a budget for the core of the troll army consisting of programmers, graphic animators, producers, social media experts, and trendsetters, while 14 academics and 2 army experts on psychological warfare helped them as volunteers. The report says that a second more crowded team will be clustered around the core as a non-commercial idea club, open for the participation of everyone. The report promotes subliminal messaging to tap into fears of conservative people. It warns that the action based on tactical attack can't be restrained during production, otherwise participation and quality would be lowered. Nothing was restrained, no expense was spared. To pay for a couple of geeks was infinitely cheaper than conventional media, and the returns were groundbreaking. Within months, even Wall Street Journal was alarmed by the number of trolls working for the Turkish state. What they saw was just the tip of it. First task of the Aktroll army was to divide and destroy the Gezi communards, and eventually they accomplished their mission. Their ultimate goal was something more sinister and much bigger. Their aim is to create a hypermodern Leviathan where every citizen is encouraged to become a troll under the government. The flow of misinformation created by the Aktrolls is then professionally justified and amplified by the Ak-its, which are a pool of mainstream televisions, radios, and newspapers owned by the Ak elite. The elite reigns over the cloud that keeps their followers in bubbles, where everybody shares the government views and everyone else is a terrorist.
Bulut sistemi dedikleri bir şey var şimdi. Son zamanlarda herkes oraya bir şey atıyor. Gelen oradan işine yarayanı alıyor, kullanıyor. Ben böyle anlıyorum. Belki farklı bir şeydir. Şey yok artık, böyle sistematik bir şey yok. Abur cubur dolduruyorsun. Herkes ihtiyacını oradan alıyor ama hiç de karışmıyor. İstediğini buluyorsun. Bu bilişim fazla kafa yorursan sıyırırsın. Kullanacaksın. Nimetlerinden kullanıp, yararlanıp işini göreceksin. Kafayı taktın mı o zaman işin kötü. Çok fazla hikmetine fazla şey yapmamak lazım.
This was a nationwide perception management that subsumed popular culture and constructed a troll nation state under a psychotic cult leader. Their effect was authoritatively complemented with the power of total surveillance over the entire population and censorship mechanisms that can instantly block access to any website.
Biz bu milleti YouTube'a, Facebook'a, bilmem şuraya buraya yediremeyiz. Atılması gereken adım neyse biz bu adımı en kesin hatlarla atacağız.
Kapatılmaları dahil mi efendim?
Dahil.
The troll state was in effect by December 17, 2013, when the corruption in the government was exposed by a massive phone leak that reached up to the Erdogan family.
Hi, Daddy. I'm calling to tell you we mostly took care of it. Did you call me, Daddy?
No, I did not. You called me.
Because I was called from a secret number.
By saying mostly, did you fully dissolve it?
We have not completely dissolved it yet, Daddy. Let me explain. We still have 30 million euros that we couldn't yet dissolve. Berat thought of something, though.
The military troll complex recreated the story on 2 levels. The official Ak narrative framed the process as a judicial coup against a democratically elected government. They claimed that this coup was organized by a parallel state structure run by their ex-best friend Fethullah Gülen, who is now their greatest enemy. In a deeper level, Troll Nation defended their leaders with the argument they steal but they work.
Ama yani ülke içinde dışarı çıkmadığı için fark etmez. 3 kere çalınıyor, ülkeye hizmet. Önemli değil.
Twitter was officially banned and at the same time flooded by government trolls. The fragmented Gezi crowd failed at penetrating this unified government strategy. As if these are not enough, opposition websites were attacked and hacked on election days, while there were electricity cuts and motorized gangs raiding polls, all happening in oppositionary areas miraculously. Tayyip won both the local and presidential elections in 2014, but for a troll of such high ambition, even this was not enough. Before presidential elections in August, the AK elite was already propping up ISIS for a full-scale attack on Kobane. ISIS entered Kobane on October 5th, Tayyip seemed proud on October 7th.
Diğer adıyla Kobani'de. Buyurun. Düştü, düşüyor.
His followers attacked people protesting in Bakur, killing 46 people. Against all odds, heroic revolutionaries stopped ISIS and started routing them. By March 2015, Rojava was growing both on the battlefields and in the hearts of the people around the world. Disappointed, Tayyip focused his rage in Turkey. Until the parliamentary elections in June 7th, Tayyip's minions conducted 112 violent attacks on HDP, which peaked with bombs in Ahmet 2 days before the elections, killing 3 people. Again, Tayyip won the elections, but he was not satisfied. The naive opposition was content with the fact that AKP had not won the majority. Someone even made a counter to celebrate the days after the election that Tayyip hadn't made a public speech. This was the silence before the storm, as Tayyip was seen conspiring with a deep state mafia leader in the wedding of an infamous troll. They were preparing for a joint attack on humanity. On July 20th, at Suruç, they bombed and killed 32 comrades who were carrying toys and books to Kobane. This was when the Turkish government started its non-linear war on the Kurdish freedom movement. The officials held ISIS responsible, but government trolls blamed the victims. They rejoiced in their deaths, while Turkish air forces started bombing Kandil and Rojava. Tayyip decided to hold another election in November, since he wasn't satisfied with the results of the previous one. Government started declaring curfews on Kurdish cities, followed by sieges. AK trolls were demanding massacres, and the government was supplying it. HDP was now under constant physical attacks, while they were completely banned from mainstream media. Squirrel Man was threatening the population with a national time travel to 1990s. In Çöktürme Plan, which had secretly been developed during the peace process, the General Staff suggested a Sri Lankan to Tamil type destruction. What Tayyip planned was different. On October 10th, AKP government not only massacred 102 comrades, but they did it openly this time. AK police tear-gassed the bomb crowd, while civilian AK trolls blocked the roads to the hospital and attacked the wounded people. This time, the AK elites were also actively victim-blaming, arguing that the Kurds are bombing themselves. Under the shadow of heavy guns, elections of November cemented the last hopes of peace. Encouraged by his victory, Tayyip escalated the level of violence. His mixed army was made up of conscripts, police spec ops, gendarmerie spec ops, rangers, and ISIS. They destroyed entire cities while they were live streaming it. They burned people alive and bragged about it while their peers were celebrating them. International Crisis Group confirms that 2,585 people have been killed in this new genocide, while homes of more than 350,000 people had been destroyed by government forces. AKP started this war with a claim to end terrorism that didn't exist. What followed was the exact opposite. terror attacks became commonplace in Turkey. This situation had already been hyper-normalized before July 15th. So what happened? What happened can be described as a pan-media spectacle. By pan-media, I mean the usage of all existing media. The event was from the start all over the internet, social media, and shortly after on all conventional and mainstream media.
Allah, bakın, biz Osmanlı'nın torunlarıyız. Haydi arkadaşlarım, haydi kardeşlerim, haydi yoldaşlarım, bu ülkesini seven bütün kardeşlerim sokaklara çıksın. Hadi gelsinler ondan sonra, ne yapıyorlarsa yapsınlar bize. Ben sokaktayım. Başıma ne gelirse Allah'tandır.
There was also a deeply reactionary neo-fascist revolution taking place as police ordered people to take the streets from loudspeakers mounted on patrol cars.
Sayın vatandaşlarımız, demokrasimizi korumada lütfen. Herkes sokağa çıksın.
Every operational mobile phone, more or less 70 million, received SMSs from Tayyip calling the people to the streets to defend democracy. Even the old dormant network of mosques was utilized to pray for the death of the old era, calling the people to the streets for the love of the nation and its president.
Bu bir cihattır. Allah için sokaklara inelim. Evde durmayalım.
It was the ultimate immersive media experience for the participants, which proved stronger than the sounds of jets or sights of tanks.
Burada bu vatan bu vatan böyle kolay verilmez. Sakin. Bu vatan böyle kolay verilmez.
What made it seem decisive from the start was the imbalance of communication power and media intelligence between the two supposedly opposing sides.
Çekim yapmak ya. Yok çekim yapmıyoruz. Abi kapat. Niçin müdahale ediliyor? Abi kapat. Sıkı yönetim. Kapat abi. Sıkı yönetim. Sıkı yönetim abi. Kapat.
From a logical standpoint, the attackers were doing everything wrong as they could. To start with the obvious, they didn't follow the lessons of previous coups that were declared in very late hours so that the people who may possibly react would be asleep. As you all well know, they chose to start the shit show on the Bosphorus Bridge at the busiest hour of traffic, so they pissed off a huge random crowd from the first moment. The soldiers on the bridge stood aimlessly as the order that put them there. However, in a surprising twist, to announce their action, they used the same TV channel that Kenan Evren used in 1980 to declare the military coup.
Bu metnin tüm Türkiye Cumhuriyeti kanallarında yayımlanması Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri'nin bir emridir.
It's curious how they didn't reflect on the fact that TRT was the only TV channel back in 1980, but now there are hundreds of TV channels in Turkey. Before July 15th, 99% of them were already under the control of government. It's not only that they looked so 20th century when they declared the coup on state television, but on September 12th in 1980, Kenan Evren was declaring the coup himself, which visualized full participation of the army from the top. These guys had nothing, not even a single recognizable face, so they had the anchorwoman of TRT read their statement at gunpoint. She was shaky. It looked like an amateur heist taking place. The declaration didn't reference any name, but it referenced a Kemalist phrase from the early 20th century, "Yurtta sulh," which makes peace sound antiquated.
Bu ahval ve şerait altında Yüce Atatürk'ün önderliğinde milletimizin olağanüstü fedakarlıklarla kurduğu ve bugünlere getirdiği Cumhuriyetimizin koruyucusu olan Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri, yurtta sulh, cihanda sulh ilkesinden hareketle vatanın bölünmez bütünlüğünü, milletin ve devletin bekasını devam ettirmek.
Tayyip and his minions had no desire for peace of any kind though. They were on a total offensive. Tayyip himself was a spearhead. When TRT was blocked, he called CNN Turk with his iPhone on his private jet. He was already confident that this coup attempt is run by his ex-BFF FETÖ from Pennsylvania. He also knew that the attempt would fail and he would win. Apparently some people, especially the supposed coup attempters and their aimless F-16 pilots, didn't know he was on his private jet, even though it was visible on flight radar. But everybody knows Tayyip has an iPhone because he called CNN Turk on FaceTime. Many high-ranked people did the same that night. It would be just fair if Apple paid for some of the production costs of the night. Nonetheless, this was a high-level illustration of how new media is subservient to the old. The president was on a phone which was in the hand of a professional TV person, and he kept getting cut off by Nuh Yilmaz, the press advisor of his intelligence agency. It was an overflow of media in a fractal arrangement of black mirrors. Every other TV channel was picking this up from CNN Turk when someone in the jet, probably Berat Albayrak, reminded Tayyip that he is the chief commander of the country.
Ben Cumhurbaşkanıyım ve başkomutanım aynı zamanda.
And after repeating that, Tayyip called on his people for total mobilization in his defense.
Milletçe meydanlarda, havalimanında toplanalım ve bunların o azınlık grubu tanklarıyla, toplarıyla gelsinler. Ne yapacaklarsa halka orada yapsınlar.
Initially, the people who heeded the call were not very crowded. However, they seemed to be very well organized and coordinating with the heavily armed Turkish police. They were also armed with cutting-edge communication media. With government-subsidized gigabytes on their phones, the Aktrol army was unleashed. The so-called military coup attempt was Aktrol's Tahrir moment. They periscoped from the streets, on highways to the bridge. There was a walking phallus in General Staff building with a live selfie, walking around looking for coopers to beat.
Kimse yok orada, kimse yok. Bu kapıya bakın. Beyler odalara tek tek bakın odalara. Odalara bakın odalara. Genelkurmay Başkanı'nın odasını bulun. Genelkurmay Başkanı'nın odasını bulun, oraya girelim be abi.
Onun odası böyle kapalıdır abi.
Tamam, o kapalıysa biz de gireceğiz, kapıyı kıracağız be abi. Yapacağım şeyimiz mi var?
This guy is particularly interesting because he is not even an AKP member. He is the head of Edirne Alperen Ocakları, which is the paramilitary organization of another racist Islamist party called BBP.
Öldürmeye geldik, ölmeye geldik.
He is also convicted for armed assault on Edirne HDP building before the elections last year.
Ya kırmayın sağa soruyu! İçeri girin, içeri girin, içeri! Gelin içeri gelin! Ya aşağıdaki millete söylesenize girsinler! Amına koy bu mu lan? Girsinler içeriye lan! Neden korkuyor bunlar? Aa, birini vurdular. Birini vurdular. Ateş ettiler, birini vurdular. Camdan uzak dur. Beyler gelin bu tarafa, ateş ediyorlar oradan. Ateş ediyorlar, birini vurdular. Aralara girin. Birini vurdular, vurdular. Ya açın kapıyı. Kapıyı açın, polisleri alın içeriye be kardeşim. Kapıyı açın, polisleri alın. Durun, bak şuradan gelebilirler. Taş değil be, ateş ediyorlar be, ne taşı? Beyler içeri girin! Ya bu insanlar niye girmiyor içeriye ya? Camdan uzak dur! Ulan kapıyı kırdık, camı kırdım, girdim içeriye, bunlar gelmiyor. Çatışma oldu, çatışma oldu. Tarıyorlar. Halkı tarıyorlar, insanları tarıyorlar. Amına kodumun uçakları. Ben ananı sikeyim. Ama beyler camlardan uzak durun ya. Bombayı attı amına kodum piçi ya. Silah mı var amına kodum? Ananı sikeyim. Ya polisi çağırın, silah versin bari ya. Sıkıyorlar, polis silah versin, silah. Polis bari silah versin bize, gelmiyorsa silah versin be abi. Polis gelmiyorsa silah versin bize, silah. Sıkıyorlar orada, sıkıyorlar. Geç. Ananı sikeyim. Ah. Koluma geldi. Kolumu sıyırdı. O mermileri senin götüne sokayım he.
After July 15th, the Ministry of Youth and Sports took this guy on a nationwide tour as a hero with the title of Ghazi. He says he didn't know the people who were with him in General Staff Headquarters that day. It may be true. The new army of Tayyip consists of people like him from different gangs of different creeds. It's a broad coalition of proven murderers and psychopaths ranging from deep state agents to fringe tarikats, from embedded mafias to ex-Maoist, Kemalist or whatever the fuck this guy is. This weird coalition came into being when Ergenekon prisoners were released, and it was consolidated when they were given roles in the Kurdish genocide that AKP reinitiated in summer 2015. Ahmet Hakan wrote a piece cursing everyone who doesn't believe the authenticity of the coup attempt. His argument is based on the fact that people died that night. So he expects us to believe that a government that killed thousands of its citizens in 2016 wouldn't sacrifice some of their followers to gain more power and legitimacy. There is no reason for us to believe that, since AKP is openly and notoriously exploiting the people they killed. So why is Ahmet Hakan so brave when he is attacking us, while he can't say a word about the genocide and the actual coup that is taking place? It might be because he was threatened and beaten by AK trolls before, but he probably also knew that his boss was working as a deep undercover for the government. Which brings us back to the Battle of CNN Turk.
Evet, şu anda artık boşaltmamız gerektiği ifade ediliyor. Biz şu anda yayını kesiyoruz.
Bizi korkutmuyor. Başla. Tamam mı? Sakin. Tamam, yayını boşaltıyoruz şimdi. Bir grup asker. Sizin yanınızda ve biz de bu yayını teslim ediyoruz. Yok. Tamam. Tamam, sakin. Tamam. Tamam arkadaşlar, hepiniz çıkın, en son ben çıkacağım. Efendim. Tamam. Tamam arkadaşlar, dışarı çıkın. Sakince. Özcan dışarı.
Military raid on CNN Turk seems inaccurate like every other attempt of the so-called coup. Why did soldiers go there at all? To break the iPhone Tayyip was on? Whatever the reason was, it was a bonding moment for the liberal Doğan media and the AKP crowd. People who took back Doğan Media Center were none other than the people who beat up Ahmet Hakan. Now they were accepted as heroes defending democracy. But even before that, CNN Turk workers didn't seem to be scared of the soldiers. Rightly so, because the soldiers were probably not more than a dozen, and they couldn't even intimidate the most chicken shit white collars of Turkey.
Arkadaşlar bırakıyoruz. Konuşma yok. Konuşma yok. Aşağı iniyoruz. gelmeyeceğiz. Gelmeyeceğiz. Aşağı iniyoruz.
Sana bir şey söyleyeyim. Ne olur.
Hayır son konuşma yok. Konuşma yok. Hayır konuşma yok. Kamerayı kapat. Kapat. Kapatın. Kapatın. Kapatın kamerayı.
Ne yapacaksın? Beni mi vuracaksın ya? Adamlar şey yapma, kafayı yemişler, kaybettiklerini. Bu arada ısrarcı olma. Tamam abi, tamam abi sorma.
Camın arkasına geçeceğiz. Oğlum bu herifler zaten yanmış. Herif orada tetiğe basar da yani. Zaten yanmışlar yani. Yapmasın. Yapma.
Bak kardeşim de asker. O zaman anlıyordur. Kızları korkutma. Ben seni çok iyi anlıyorum. Kızları korkutma.
Ya canım ne olur kapat.
In contrast, AKP crowd burst into the building as a horde. They couldn't even be restrained by the police who led them there. You could feel the ecstasy of state-backed lynching in the air.
Beyler yapmayın, yapmayın. Yapmayın, yapmayın beyler. Beyler yapmayın. Beyler sakin, sakin, sakin, sakin. Beyler sakin. Sakin beyler, sakin. Niye kırıyorsunuz onları? Ya bunları niye kırıyorsunuz? Niye kırıyorsun?
A similar crowd took over TRT in a short time.
Geçmiş olsun hepinize. Geçmiş olsun.
Eyvallah sağ ol.
Asker abi senin görüş.
Yayın içeride. Yayın içeri geçebilirsin. İçeri. Yayın. İçeri. Sakince.
Askeri alın elinden ya.
Kardeş, bu tank duracak. Bak kardeşim, bu tankı durdur. Kardeşim bak, biz askerden geldik. Biz de biliyoruz. Bu ülkeye darbe yapılıyor. Ben geldim bak, daha evden yeni geldim. Yemek yiyemedim. Ne oldu? Haberim bile yok. Ya biliyorum. Sen bana ben de askerden geldim. Sen bana olay bana. Ne oldu? Darbe mi oldu? Vallahi darbe yapılıyor. Kim? Genelkurmay Başkanı'na rehin aldılar. Kim? O askerle polis çatışıyor, bir çatışıyor. Abi o asker değil. Aç şunu aşağıya. Tutun. Bak adamı aldılar aşağıya. Bak kardeş sen dur seni koruyacağım. Bak seni koruyacağım diyor. Şoföre söyle. Tamam. İndir. Bak söyle. Şoföre de dursun. Bak koruyacağım seni söz veriyorum. Bak yoksa bu insanlar öldürecek.
Tayyip landed in Atatürk Airport after 4, and soon he was speaking to his hired journalists, while outside was being prepared for his public speech. With the rising sun, it was visible that he still had the power. His followers cheered him with chants such as "We want death penalty." Then they hit the Bosphorus Bridge in waves to murder the last remaining soldiers. Following images are very disturbing, and people's expressed desire for murder can cause disillusionment with humanity.
Evet! Allahu Ekber! Allahu Ekber! Allahu Ekber! Vurun! Vurun kahvelere vurun! Vurun içeri! 4 tanesini öldürdük. 4'ünü öldürdük. Ha 5'inki kaldı. Ha köpek.
Her olanda hayır vardır anlayışından hareketle de eninde sonunda şu anda bu çıkış, bu hareket Allah'ın bize büyük bir lütfu. Niye büyük bir lütfu? Ne yaparlarsa yapsınlar Türkiye eski Türkiye değil. Yeni Türkiye'nin davranış biçimleri çok daha farklıdır. Ve bu davranış biçimlerini kullanmak suretiyle biz bu adımı atıyoruz.
It was obvious that he didn't care about the lives of civilians since he put them on the front lines as cannon fodder before the heavily armed police. He was on his private jet when he called the people to the streets. He also told the army to do whatever they wanted to do there. He was sure nothing would happen to him, as nothing would happen to anyone close to him. Even his disgusting palace was left intact. Here is Mayor of Turkish capital Ankara, Melih Gökçek, to explain how this happened.
Düşünebiliyor musunuz? Cumhurbaşkanını 15 dakikayla kaçırdılar. Başbakanı 5 dakikayla kaçırdılar. Acizane beni yarım saatle kaçırdılar. Bir tek bakanı yakalayamadılar. Bu bizim gücümüzden mi? Tövbe. Rabbil Alemin doğrudan doğruya himayesinden, korumasından, bizi muhafaza etmesinden başka herhangi bir şey değil.
Saatimiz kaç? 4.30. Milyonlarca vatandaş nerede? Sokaklarda. Tamam mı?
Before afternoon, more than 1,500 people were arrested with charges of treason and terrorism. We still didn't know the number of casualties when Başbakan Binali declared 15 July a feast of democracy. He named what their followers did that night a democracy watch.
15 Temmuz artık değerli vatandaşlarım demokrasimizin bayramı olmuştur.
This ushered in an indefinite democracy watch, a permanent mobilization that put Tayyip's minions on every street 24/7 with the open intention to intimidate and violate their opponents in their everyday lives. Public life in Turkey became even harder and more dangerous than before because the AK trolls considered everyone to be their opponents.
Bu vatan için en büyük tehlike başta bu dinler arası diyalog belasını başlatanların faaliyetleridir demiştim. Burada dinimize kastedenler, yani Yahudi Hristiyan cennete girecek diyerek, Müslüman kızı Hristiyana vererek.
Akgezen misin? Evet. Arkadaşların var mı Akgezen? Var tabii. Ne konuşuyorsun Akgezenler aranızda mesela?
Ya gene de hani işte Erdoğan yaptıklarını, bu ülkeye faydalarını konuşuyoruz.
Jon Snow.
Evet.
Akgezenleri öldüreceğim diyor.
Gelsin bakalım.
Benim elime gelse ben onu dişlerimle var ya onun etini yerim ben ya.
This blossom of fascist populism was legislated when Tayyip declared the state of emergency on July 20th. 2 days later, the Minister of Interior, Bekir Bozdağ, complained that they didn't have enough courthouses to judge all the people they arrested. Meanwhile, mass torture was shown in mainstream media and praised as the long-awaited justice. They buried the people they killed in this process to what they call traitor cemetery without respect to any law. In the state of emergency, the law is effectively replaced by statutory decrees of Tayyip. On July 23rd, Tayyip issued the first statutory decree that forcibly shut down 35 health institutions, 104 foundations, 109 dormitories, 1,934 private schools, 1,125 associations, 15 universities, and 19 unions. The Feast of Democracy was at full swing. They reached the climax after 3 weeks with the Democracy and Martyrs rally, when the Genocidal Alliance grew to subsume the so-called main opposition CHP and the auxiliary puppet party called MHP on August 7th. 1 month of democracy resulted in more than 18,000 people taken under custody, more than 10,000 of them arrested, and more than 80,000 people suspended or sacked from their jobs by August 15th. To make room in the overcrowded prisons, the government granted a special amnesty to 93,000 non-political prisoners. Number of prisoners rose to a record height for Turkish history. In a report made by the Committee to Protect Journalists in December, there were 81 journalists in jail, which already broke the world record in number of imprisoned journalists. This post-coup media crackdown started with Tayyip's ex-BFF Fethullah Gülen's media. Parts of this media group was already seized by the police 1 year before, when they published news on AKP-ISIS gun trade. On July 28, 2016, Tayyip issued a statutory decree that shut down 3 news agencies, 16 televisions, 23 radios, 15 magazines, and 29 publishers. Among them was the most circulated newspaper of Turkey, Zaman. 89 journalists were detained, 37 of them were arrested. Then, at August 16th, the government initiated a new chapter of the political genocide. They violently attacked the Istanbul bureau of Özgür Gündem, the most widely read newspaper of the Kurdish freedom movement. Özgür Gündem is emblematic for the resilience of journalism in the face of decades of oppression.
Bugün kapatıldığı haberi geldi. Haber nasıl geldi? Gazeteye gelen tebligatla değil, Yeni Şafak gazetesinin yaptığı haberle öğrendik hepimiz Özgür Gündem çalışanlarıyla birlikte gazetenin kapatıldığını.
İmece TV was among the ones who showed up for solidarity.
Bütün özel harekat polisleri binaya dağılmış durumdaydı. Avukatları o tebligatı incelerken aslında polisler bir taraftan da aramaya başlamıştı. Özgür Gündem gazetesi çalışanlarının buna itirazı vardı. Tebligat avukatımıza ulaşmadan, avukatımız bu tebligatı incelemeden arama yapamazsınız denildi. O sırada aslında gerginlik yaşandı. Onun ardından avukat haber merkezinin olduğu kata geldiği süre zarfından itibaren kimlikler verildi ve arama yeniden kalarda bizim kameramızda el konuluyor. Şu anda kameramıza el konuluyor. Şu anda 3 kez bağlantımız kesildi ve kameramıza el konuldu. Özgür Gündem gazetesi içerisindeyiz şu anda. Özgür Gündem gazetesi içerisinde çalışanlarla birlikte haber merkezinde bekliyorduk. Bizim de kimliklerimiz alınmıştı. Şu anda kameramıza da el konuldu.
Evet. Nasıl bir müdahale bu Gülfem? Yani buradan sert gözüküyor. Ne oluyor?
Sarmış durumda. Hayır.
At the same day, the police raided the houses of editors of Özgür Gündem. Renowned physicist, writer, and human rights advocate Aslı Erdoğan was among the people that was kidnapped by the police. They made an example by putting Aslı in a cell, denying her medication. Atılım newspaper showed solidarity by printing Özgür Gündem under their title. Government confiscated the published newspapers and shut down Atılım as well. Tayyip was trying to silence the Kurdish press because he was preparing for a dirty war against Rojava. Minbiç was recently liberated from ISIS by Rojavan forces, which were advancing for unification. This would clear ISIS from the Turkish border region. Instead of being grateful, AKP declared that they will fight against both ISIS and YPG. Turkish army entered Syria with tanks alongside their hired militia. With ISIS, it was easy as changing the flag, so Jarablus was captured in 1 day. Once they obstructed the unification of Rojava, High President turned its gaze back into Turkey. On September 28, Tayyip extended his decree to shut down 10 radios and 12 televisions, including Hayatın Sesi TV and İmece TV, which was the most watched TV channel in northern Kurdistan. At October 4th, the police busted the studios to execute the decree.
5,5 yıllık bir kanaldı. Size her dakikasında emek verdiniz.
Evet. Bu emekler hakikaten bütün bunları görünce insan içi acıyor. Ama demokrasi mücadelesi de böyle bir mücadeledir. Yani antidemokratik güçlerle demokratik güçler arasında her zaman bir mücadele olacaktır. Biz Türkiye'nin demokratik sesi, Türkiye'nin demokrasisinin sesi. Evet. Evet. Evet. Evet.
Evet, şu anda stüdyomuza da girdi polis ekipleri.
Şunu söyleyebiliriz. Çok net. Biz yayındayız. Rahatlıkla gelin. Sizinle ilgili bir sorunumuz yok. Biz zalimler için yaşasın cehennem diyoruz. Biz demokrasinin sesiyiz. Biz darbelere karşıyız. Darbelerin içinde darbe çıkaranlara da karşıyız. Gelin buyurun. Siz devleti temsil ediyorsunuz. Yüzünüzü niye kapatıyorsunuz? Biz ak alnımızla halkımızın karşısındayız.
This wave of oppression was encouraged by what happened one day before when European satellite company Eutelsat obeyed the Troll Sultan's decree and contributed to the Aktrol invasion by shutting down Mednuçe TV.
Biraz da tuhaf bir duygu tabii. Yani bir yayının noktalanacak, bir emeğin noktalanacak olması, her ne kadar bu yayın devam edecek, başka bir mecrada kendine yeni bir isimle ama aynı anlayışla devam edecek. Yayınımız kapandı.
On October 29th, Tayyip made another decree that shut down 10 newspapers, 3 magazines and 2 news agencies, Diha and Jinha, which was the only news agency in Turkey that was run entirely by women. Tayyip then turned his eyes on his oldest enemy, the secularist Republic. He had already threatened and imprisoned journalists from Cumhuriyet that had published proofs of Erdogan's weapon and oil trade with ISIS. AK police raided houses of everyone on the executive board of Cumhuriyet on October 31st. They even jailed the cartoonist Musa Kart. Finally, when freedom of press was completely out of picture, the Troll Sultan started attacking HDP's elected representatives. This offensive started on September 11th, when AKP government sent its police to violently take over municipalities of Bakur. They arrested democratically elected co-mayors to replace them with the dictator's appointed trustees in 28 municipalities. On November 1st, they invaded the municipality of Ahmed, which is the biggest city of Bakur, after arresting both of the co-mayors.
Bir saniye bekleyin. Bir saniye bekleyin. Bir saniye. Gel gel gel. Şuralara ben gel. Aç şurayı. Gel. Kapat.
Direne! Direne! Kazanlar değil! Direne! Direne! Kazanacağız! Yaşasın! Faşizme boyun eğmeyeceğiz! Faşizme boyun eğmeyeceğiz! Bunun hesabı Hesabını vereceksiniz hepiniz.
Bin bayan al. Bin içeri, bin içeri, bin içeri. Bin içeri, sen de bin, sen de bin, sen de bin.
Direne!
Tamam kapat. Sen de güçlü abisin.
Hayır.
Ayağın personeli bizim. Tamam geçin. Abla zorluk yok. Kendini yorarsın. Geç. Sevap hanım, tamam.
Çek üzerinden.
Çekil bir.
Çekil üzerinden.
Çekil bir.
Çekil üzerinden. Çekil üzerinden.
Beyler bayanlar tamam. Sakin ol.
Around midnight of November 4th, police raided HDP headquarters and homes of HDP members of parliament.
Şu anda bir vekille muhatapsınız. Bu şekilde böyle korsanvari yöntemlerle baskın falan yapmanıza gerek yoktur. Burası genel merkez. Öyle bir şey yok ki. Nedir
Parlamentosun üçüncü büyük grup.
Öyle şey olur mu ya?
Şimdi şu an biz burada neyle karşılaşıyoruz?
Nedir? Niye bize haber vermiyorsunuz? Haber verin. Buradayız. Bir yere gidiyoruz biz.
Savcı gelmek zorunda.
Hayır, ne yapmaya çalışıyorsunuz? Psikolojik.
Arkadaşlar bakın siz anlamadığınız nokta şu. Biz burada arama yapmıyoruz.
Evet.
Niye geliyorsun o zaman buraya?
Zorla götürülme kararı var.
Peki niye bana
Onu
ulaşmıyorsunuz?
uygulamak
Niye
için
iletmiyorsunuz? Nedir bu böyle
geldik, iletmeye
bir
geldik.
partinin genel merkezi
Bulunduğumuz yer burası.
Olur mu öyle şey ya?
Bizim bulunduğumuz yer burası. Biz de buraya sizin devletine geldik. Ve sizi alıp gitmeniz gerekiyor. Lütfen. Geldik. Ve sizi alıp gitmeniz gerekiyor. Zorluk çıkarmayın.
Ya bizim çekinecek bir şeyimiz yok, oldu mu?
Ankara Emniyet Müdürlüğü terörle mücadele
Ne yapıyorsunuz siz be? Ne yapıyorsunuz eşkıyalar? Vurmayın.
Ne yapıyorsunuz siz?
Direne! Direne! Kazalarca ülke! Direne! Halkın iadesine darbe yaparak bu şekilde tarih önünde tarih önünde. Bırak. Ne yapıyorsun sen ya? Kafama basmayın. Ne yapıyorsun sen ya? Tamam arkadaşlar. Sen hesabını vereceksin bunu. Ben yüz binlerce oyun temsilcisiyim. Öyle kafama bastırarak yoklayamazsın beni. Yok bir şey yok. Ya ne yapıyorsun? Yok öyle bir şey yok.
The co-chairs of the party were among the representatives taken hostage by the police.
İyi yaptınız. Çok güzel. Çok güzel. Bekleyin. Giyiniyor. Bekleyin. Giyiniyor.
Biz de savcı beyin talimatıyla buradayız.
Sakin olun. Siz sakin olun. Telefonu bırakın bakayım.
Savcınız mı? Hayır sizin arkadaşınız. Bırakın.
Both got arrested. Selahattin Demirtas is now sentenced to 5 years of jail over a political speech. Figen Yüksekdağ's membership to parliament is revoked while she is still in jail. This has been followed by mass arrests of HDP members and racist attacks on HDP buildings by an integrated crowd of civilians, officers, and mainstream media, all now part of the same troll nation. While anyone who wants peace is attacked by AKP government with accusations of terrorism, they are not so hostile to ISIS. The troll nation has a special relationship with ISIS.
Yani IŞİD dediğimiz yapı bir çekirdek olarak radikal, terörize bir yapı gibi görülebilir. Ama oraya katılan kitlelerin, ki bu kitlelerin içinde Türkmenler ciddi çoğunluktadır. Efendim, Sünni Araplar vardır, Kürtler vardır. Bunu böyle bilmek lazım. Onların temel şeyi, kitlelerin yani katılım. Burada yükselen bir güç var, yani ilerleyen bir güç. Daha önceki hoşnutsuzluklar, öfkeler, dışlanmalar, hakaretler bir anda o büyük bir cephede geniş bir reaksiyon doğurdu.
Brüksel'de veya Avrupa'nın herhangi bir şehrinde patlamaması için hiçbir sebep yok.
What it was? A job or was it a terrorist?
In December 2016, ISIS released a video of burning Turkish soldiers alive. The Turkish state and media went into a complete silence. While they were censoring the video link on the internet, AK trolls were claiming that such a video didn't exist, that the video was fake, that the soldiers were fake, and anyone who would argue against this was a terrorist. The first official statement is made after a week.
Bazı arkadaşlar da, medyadaki bazı arkadaşlar da lütfen ayaklarını denk alsınlar.
Every journalist who made news about AKP-ISIS relationship had already been jailed or attacked. On December 29th, AKP jailed Ahmet Şık once again. Ahmet Şık is an internationally acclaimed investigative journalist. He is well known for his investigation into AKP's relationship with Fethullah Gülen. He documented how Gülen movement infiltrated the Turkish state in allegiance with AKP over the years. For this, he was arrested in 2011 and charged with taking part in a coup attempt as a member of Ergenekon terror organization. They let him out after a year when AKP started falling out with Fethullah Gülen.
Bu işin sorumluları cemaat bağlantı. Burada cemaatçi olan herkesi suçlamıyorum. Ama cemaatçi olup da bir çete faaliyeti gibi çalışan emniyetteki ve yargının içerisindeki bürokratik örgütlenme içerisindeki adamlardır. Bunun asli sorumluları. Ama siyaseten sorumlusu da AKP hükümetidir. Bunlara cevaz verdiği için, sesini çıkarmadığı için. Ama herkes şunu bilsin. Bunca baskı ve zulümden o iktidarın korktuğu ama bizim de özlemini duyduğumuz ve mücadelesini sürdürmeye devam edeceğimiz bir hayat çıkacak. Burada son sözümdür. Tamam.
Every police, prosecutor and judge who convicted Ahmet Şık in 2011 is now either expelled or jailed with charges of being member of Fethullah terror organization. Turkish troll state is now putting Ahmet Şık on trial for being a member of Fethullah terror organization, while his trial on Ergenekon terror organization is still pending.
Evet, bakın ben 15 Temmuz kalkışması üzerinden de yine bir sahte tarih yazımı yapılıyor. Sahte tarih yazımını biz yakın geçmişte Ergenekon soruşturmaları üzerinden gördük. Bir demokratikleşme ve sivilleşme illüzyonu yarattılar. İnsanları buna inandıracak bir sahte tarih yazımı yaptılar. 15 Temmuz kalkışmasına baştan itibaren sürekli İstiklal Savaşı diye kodlamanın çok makul bir nedeni var iktidar nezdinde. Çünkü bu da bir sahte tarih yazımı. Ve tarih sahte, savaş sahte ama şehitler ve gazileri gerçek. 250 insan öldü. Bu sahte tarih yazımına kimse inanmasın. Rejimin değiştirmenin önünü açan parti devlet modeli, bir diktatör özentisini ülkenin başına kalmasını, kalıcı hale getirmesinin yolu 15 Temmuz kalkışması üzerinden yapılıyor. Bunu herkesin görmesi lazım. Ve bu sahte tarih yazımına itiraz etsinler.
AKP started 2017 with a rush to change the constitution through a referendum. In the proposal phase in the parliament, AKP blacked out the parliament TV and physically assaulted oppositionary members of parliament that tried to document how AKP was cheating.
Bakınız Sağlık Bakanı da açıkta oyunu göstererek kullandı.
Sayın Bakan suç işliyor.
Koskoca bakan suç işledi.
Sen ne ilgilendiriyorsun? Sana mı soracağım?
Bütün bakanlar dahil suç işliyorlar.
At the same time, a high-ranked low-skilled ACT troll used a fake female profile on Periscope to livestream. Before deleting his fake account, he mistakenly filmed himself. In international politics, Troll Nation still claims that Turkey is a democratic state, while the referendum will be held under the state of emergency. By the time this film is done, in March 2017, AKP government is still keeping 13 members of parliament hostage in jail. AKP now holds 81 municipalities by force, while elected mayors are still in jail. Since July 15, 2016, 93,248 people have been detained and 46,274 are arrested as political prisoners accused with terrorism. These numbers are rising every day, while AKP is building new prisons. 128,625 people have been sacked from their jobs without any rights to appeal because of terror charges. 7,316 academics have been dismissed from profession. They are barred from finding jobs in other countries because their passports are invalidated. The only reason why they are not in prison is because there is no available space left in Turkish prisons. In effect, entire Turkey has become a prison for people resisting the troll nation.
Evet, uzaklaş! Uzaklaş! Uzaklaş!
Arkadaşım kameramanımı bırakın. Benim kameramanımı bırakın arkadaşım. O benim kameramanım diyorum size. Ya benim kameramanım. Arkadaşım kameramanımı bırakın. O benim kameramanım diyorum size.
Kameramanınsa beni onu bırakın.
Tamam kameramanımı niye götürüyorsunuz arkadaşım? Haberiniz yok mu sizin? Haberiniz yok mu? Kameramanımı bırakın. Kameramanımı bırakın. Kameramanımı bırakın. O benim kameramanım. O benim kameramanım. O benim kameramanım. O benim kameramanım diyorum size.
Bizler teker teker hedef haline getiriliyoruz. Ülkeyi açıkçası troller yönetiyor. Kimin tutuklanacağına, kimin hangi cezai yaptırıma uygulanacağını, kimin hedef haline getirileceğini, kimin hangi söyleminden kaynaklı ne dediğini çarşaf çarşaf troller sosyal medyada paylaşıyor. Bu troller maalesef bazen gazeteci oluyor, bazen siyasetçi oluyor, bazen de ismini cismini bilmediğimiz onlarca kişi oluyor. Bu trollerin hedef göstererek aslında siyasetini oluşturarak, konseptini oluşturarak başlattıkları bu linç kampanyasından sonra zorunlu bir şekilde mahkemeler devreye giriyor, ya tutukluyor, ya gözdağı veriyor ya da farklı yöntemlerle insanlar sindirilmeye çalışılıyor. Burada özellikle trollerin günlerdir sosyal medyada kullandığı cinsiyetçi dili, küfürleri, hakaretleri bir kez daha bu kürsüde kınadığımı, kadın özgürlük mücadelesi önündeki bu tutumu da kınadığımı ifade etmek istiyorum.
That's it for now. However, if you think this is only happening in Turkey, think again.
But America's done it. We've actually elected an internet troll as our president.
Just like how Mussolini and Hitler looked up to the Young Turks, the neo-populist fascists called alt-right are employing the proven strategies of AK trolls. This is not going to be easy, but we have to break out of the global hyper-normalization of the present shock. Maybe we can start by following a simple universal rule. Don't feed the troll.